Hi guys, this is Massa from the Great White North. So today we're gonna dig deep into Genesis Origin Kickstarter. We're gonna have Sid here, the CEO and creator. We're gonna go through all the pledges, all the promos, all the exclusive, and you're gonna have all the info right here, right now. Let's roll the trailer. Hi Sid, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
That's so nice to have you again. You must be so tired, so much work at Kickstarter, and you had the championship. I really admire your passion. For those who don't know you, can you really briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Asid, but most people call me Sid. But after the championship, I may have to change a different nickname because the championship winner was also Sid. So I am the CEO of Haunted Castle Gaming and the creator of Genesis Battle of Champions. I have been playing collectible card games since 94, 95, and I've been designing Genesis in one form or another for almost 20 years now. And we brought it to market in 2017 with a very slow growth, but it has always been a slow and steady wins the race type of mentality. And now we're here trying to take the company to the next level and see some actual solid explosive growth. And hopefully Kickstarter is the path to do that.
All right, that sounds cool. So I'm just looking at so we have the draft in front of us of the Kickstarter, and I'm just going through it. One of the first questions I wanted to ask, but you kind of answer already, is how old is Genesis? So is that 4 years now?
So we launched it in October 2017. And at that time, we just had the alpha starter kit. So no booster packs, nothing like that. And alpha itself was a piecewise release. So every few months, I released more booster packs, which had like 5 or 6 new cards. And it slowly released alpha until about the summer of 2018. And then in September 2018, we released beta, which was the full card pool released in kind of a mass printing of it. And then we released one set a year until this year, where we'll be doing the Kickstarter. And yeah, that's kind of the origins of Genesis.
All right, cool. So I was just checking how many stores already support the game, and on the Kickstarter, I say 80 plus local game stores around the world and hosting several organized play events. So that's really good already.
Yeah.
So how long has Genesis been played at the competitive level?
From the beginning, almost immediately, people were asking for us to start hosting weekly tournaments. So we were hosting them at a local game store in Cambridge, Ontario, named Forbes Hobbies. And then our first real big event was in November of 2018, where we did our 1-year anniversary celebration, and we had a big booster draft, which was about 18 people at that time. We had our championship in 2019. Then COVID stopped us from doing a championship in 2020. And then we came back this year to do the 2021 championship with nearly $10,000 in prizing, along with an alpha booster box, and the opportunity for a lot of people to make cards and really enjoy Genesis to its full.
Yeah, I have a short movie about the championship that I'm showing here. It looked like you guys are already very established and professional already. I'm why do you need Kickstarter? You're already one of the big guys. This championship, how many people did you have there?
We had, because of COVID, we had a lot of tickets sell, but a lot of the people who bought tickets were mainly there for supporting the game and supporting from a distance. When it comes to actual attendees, we had about 40 players playing And then all together between staff and observers and content creators and everything of the sort, we're almost at 100 people in the event. And the way I look at it, yes, we did something really cool. The championship was amazing. It was beautiful. The scene and the environment was so energetic and explosive. The thing is, everything we've done up to now, the past 4 years, I like to think of it as a soft launch or like a dry run of what we're planning to do. So the championship, we had to work out a lot of kinks. We learned a lot about how to work with an event organizer and marketing team and a production team. It was all brand new things. Now for this year, starting with Origins, moving forward, a lot of the things that we had to learn through trial and error, we've now not perfected, but we've gotten much more competent at, like our artwork, like our game design design and testing process. Our marketing is still something that we're working really hard on, and we now found a great team to help us do a lot of marketing stuff. There's just so much about the company that we're still learning and we're growing on, but I think up to this point, we've proven that even without Kickstarter, we can do this. We can do something really, really amazing. And now we just want to take it to that next notch up, right?
All right, that makes sense. Like I was like, I mean, it's just such an amazing company already. It's like, at least in Canada, I feel like you are one of the top 4, and I guess not in the world, and that will help for the worldwide exposure. So let's look at this Kickstarter. So I have the page here. So like here we have a little intro. So it's talk about the 5x6 grid. And I think that's really what is kind of special about Genesis. You don't play like your half and the other half. You have a kind of a chess grid. And when did you start having this idea of using a chess grid? Like from the beginning?
It was no. The grid itself. We originally had the game as like a combination of Magic meets Yu-Gi-Oh. So it had that attack row and a defense row. But to make the communal board where you could traverse to your opponent's side, that wasn't until 2008, 2009. Me and my friends, we played a board game card game called Anachronism, created by the History Channel. And they had a board system which was very unique, very thought out, but there were some issues about it, some things that I felt weren't done to the fullest. So that's where we started expanding it, and we started looking at other games like Warhammer or Huntix, different other games that use the board system, like Mage Wars as well, and trying to incorporate all those ideas to refine it, make it polished, and that's where we came up with our board system.
All right, I understand. I do like that. I think that's what changed the game completely from any other game. So I see, like you say, it's for 2 player. Is there any chance that we will have some stretch goal for like more than 2 player or less than 2 player?
So when we talk about the actual official game, at that point, it is a 2-player game. It's 1v1. But when we talk about casual formats, you'll see me at local game stores all the time playing 4-player free-for-all, 6-player free-for-all, 8-player free-for-all. I have a format where I call it terrain, where it's ideal for a 3-player free-for-all, because normally in a 3-player free-for-all, it becomes 2 versus 1. So in the terrain setting, what you do is you expand the board, but for each additional spot you add, you create, you take like Warhammer terrain or like actual items and put them on the board and say these are occupied. And now you have more of a map that you have to work around. So it's a lot harder to get tag teamed against. I'll give some guidelines for multiplayer, but I want people to play with their own house rules.
Like,
I think that's the fun part.
We see on the Kickstarter page, like you put some video on how to play, including the video that I did with some of your judges, and that's really cool. We can see here a bit how the grid look like. I think the game is very easy, and I mean, I think you can watch any of those videos and kind of just after get a starter deck and start to play. Yeah, let's come back to the beginning. It's written made in Canada. So obviously I'm in Canada, you're in Canada, so that counts for us. But like when you say made in Canada, is it like really, is it even printed in Canada?
Yep, it's printed in Quebec, just on the outskirts of Montreal, and they're called Cardston Inc. So I recommend if you're looking to make your own game, reach out to them. They are an amazing company to work with.
I have to attest,
So
the printing quality is extremely amazing. The text is very sharp. So like we see here that there is 12 new heroes. Before we look into the new heroes, I wanted to look with you at the 12 old heroes. I mean, they are not that old, but we already have 12 heroes, and that's a lot of gameplay. Like my favorite right now is Nubia and Core, and I think this one is called Rain, right?
yep, that's right.
So all those are we can play with those heroes already, right?
Yes.
And once we get origin cards, we can still play with those heroes.
Yes. So even after Origin releases, our competitive format is going to be based around a world. So we'll mention which world is part of competitive, and that's the world you can play with. So right now we're still on Jaylara. Even when we get into Origins, we're still on Jaylara. So we will be allowing any champion from within Jaylara to be tournament legal.
I can see here there is 12 new heroes, champions. And so we have those 4 that have already been spoiled. We have Kryn, Tashir, Kasha, and Manot.
Yep.
I have a better image of them here. We already talked in another video, so I don't want to spend time on those. I'm very excited with Kasha and Manot. I have to say, I have been trying to guess those champions behind. They do look cool. And I have to show some respect that there is a lot of gender diversity, which often in card games, we don't really see that much. And I think this is cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a big design goal when it came to making Genesis. Was we wanted to show, especially when it came to fighters, when it came to people in combat, we wanted to show a good diversity of not just male fighters, because that's usually the status quo in these games, is that if you're going to have someone who's coming in being very aggressive, who's wielding a sword or an axe, it's usually a male character. And here we have Kareen, who's a master of all weapons.
Yeah.
You have Tashir, your archer, and you have someone in the back right corner who will leave nameless, but you have that sword and very powerful armor. So there's a lot of gender diversity, and even one of the characters, I'll leave it for now.
I really think it's important to keep gender diversity. And so we have 152 cards. So how many reprints?
There are 3 reprint cards. Okay. Tsunami, which you have in your background.
Yeah.
So there's Tsunami. Then we also have Dedicated Studies, which was a very popular card in beta. So that's getting reprinted. And then the 3rd reprint card is Vampiric Kiss.
I see.
So those will all get reprinted in Origins.
So that's 148 new cards. So that's really increasing the card pool. And we have 4 new mechanisms. Wrap. I guess that allow you to move around the board. We have Replicate, which is, we will talk about Phage just a bit after, but Replicate sounds like replicating. We have Modify Stack. And I think this is kind of something more to appeal for the advanced player. And then we have Fatigue, which actually kind of mill your opponent. So that kind of attack on another axis. And then it said debuting Phage. For those who don't know, there are 5 primordial forces in Genesis, and the champions can tap into those forces. The first one is there is Bellium. So Bellium represents belief, and is symbolized by this symbol. And usually you have, so it's going to be yellow in the card. It's kind of about order, and I thought Guardian of Balance is a card that kind of represents that, because when it comes into play, it prevents all damage. So it's kind of like keeping the peace. That's how I see Bellium. Do you see it like that? I mean, you are the creator.
Bellium is looking outside of yourself for answers. So there's a religious belief, there's social belief. In the 2 sets we saw so far, Welcome to Jaylar and Raise, a lot of the conflict is because of the political belief in the king's ruling, and that's what caused the separation in the South.
I see. And then we have Timos, and and so that's this symbol and one card. So for me, Timos is kind of like the emotion of people, a bit of aggressiveness, a bit. And I selected Baroque to represent it because this is a very aggressive card. How do you see Timos in your head?
Thymos is a
Thymos.
lot about not holding back your emotion. If you're feeling something and you want to act on it, you just act on it. You don't hold that back in any way.
I see.
So like Baruch, great example. It enters the arena. It doesn't want to hold back. It just goes in and starts
You want to
attacking.
bash your face. I got that right. And then we have a lot of people's favorites, blue, as usual. So it's Axon. So can you talk about Axon a bit?
So Axon isn't just about knowledge or mental acuity. It's about mastery. It's about finding a topic and making sure that you're the master of it. You're the best at that subject, that topic, that resource, whatever it is.
Yeah, so I selected dedicated studies as an example. So it's draw card, discard 2 cards. It's a lot of manipulation. It's a lot about mastering the different skills. And then we have another of my favorite. We have Chaos in purple. So what can you say? I mean, Chaos seems pretty obvious, but what can you say about it?
So chaos comes from a lot more of the direct definition of the word anarchy. It's about not having that structure, not having that order, being able to embrace the strongest and the most powerful. It's about survival of the fittest. It's a lot more abstract than the other three. So yeah, it's definitely a really interesting one. It gives us a lot of space to do some crazy new card mechanics.
Yeah, so like I show puppet control. Typically, you steal one creature. I thought this is, for me, Chaos is kind of like trying to do things different way, and I do like it. And so we have this new affiliation, Phage. So that's green. So tell us, what is Phage? So now we have one more color.
Phage, I mean, it said right there, it represents survival. It's about that human urge, or in this case, we have elves and vampires and demons and all those races. They have bugs and diseases, things that will do whatever it takes to make sure that their genetic code survives. And this is where we start getting into different structures. So phage for me, I think a lot about viruses and disease. I mean, it seems very poetic, but we're talking about this during COVID times. And the whole idea of how different viruses can manipulate their genetic code to survive in an environment that's trying to work against them all the time.
So yeah, so I feel this is kind of pretty new, and like I chose Pestilent Mycophore. I don't know how to pronounce this word.
Mycophore, yeah.
Mycophore. And so if I understand, like when it dies, it becomes something else. So this is the idea of survival. So far our heroes, champions, they don't have those phage symbol. We don't have any of those. So now we are introducing a new color, a new affiliation style. How do you think it's going to affect the metagame? Like, does it change everything? Like, do you think the whole deck will have to change to adapt to phage?
It changes in a lot of ways. Even like every aspect from the product design over to game design to testing to just how we put out champions. So it's definitely changed things quite a bit. I think when it comes to the meta, again, it can change the meta, but what will end up changing the game is not the affiliations, it's the champions and who plays those champions. Like we saw at the championship itself, Core is not a standard competitive champion, but found its way to second place. It's about the player and how well they can play with the champion they select.
I can see here that there are some new champion with the green symbols.
Yep.
So I guess that's exciting. There is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. One for each combination, I'm assuming.
Yes.
That's very exciting. So yeah, let's come back to this page and let's come back to the top. And let's talk about this 15K,
Mhm.
$50,000 goal. Why did you choose this number? Like this seems really modest.
Yeah, part of it is, again, we have been around for a while. I do know how much it costs to make Origins, how much it costs to make the product as a whole.
Mhm.
But what we're really looking at and investing into here is the growth cycle of the game, taking it to the next level. And the one area that we need a lot more investment when it comes to taking the game to the next level is more less on the product manufacturing and a lot more on the marketing
Mhm.
and organized play side of things. So one way or another, we're going to make sure Origins releases. We have a lot of contacts and partnerships within distribution and retail that Origins as a set, I'm not worried about that releasing. What
Mhm.
I am wanting to do is get organized play into all the stores, get
Mhm.
them hosting events regularly, getting the message out. What is Genesis? What is Origins? And why should you care?
Mhm.
Those are the things that I want to be able to use Kickstarter to help grow and talk about. Of course, the big thing, as always, like they say in Kickstarter, is you got to be using the Kickstarter funds to bring a project to life that wouldn't normally be able to do so. And what we're going to be bringing to life is Genesis, the next stage, the next growth in the company.
So if I understand, so like you put 15,000, but obviously you are hoping for more, I'm assuming. And this is funds more for the growth of the game, not only for Origin, but just beyond that.
It's to make sure that Origins as a set, as a product, is able to take the company to the next level and we can grow on all aspects of what is Genesis.
Mhm. Okay, sounds good. All right, let's. I was showing the Origin movie while you were talking. Um, it looks really cool. And we have a part on the lore in the Kickstarter draft. Can you summarize quickly what the story behind like? So first, is that placed before the other set, after the other set? Like, what's the timeline?
So we're going into Origins nearly 10 years after Raise.
I see.
And what's happened is in the South, peace is settled. Everything's now finally calm now that the king has been killed.
Mhm.
But in the North, we're about to hit a civil war. And the reason behind this is uh, the elves who have been ruling the North, Anahata, for a long time, they have classified all the races. Elves at the tops, then fairies, then humans, then vampires. Vampires have always been the lowest breed. And the vampires, led by Kasha, have always been trying to debate with the elves on a political level. Give us more rights, give us freedoms,
Mhm.
give us a chance to enter the city and operate businesses, but have never been given that opportunity. Then Kala, one of the vampires, is killed in the middle of the night. And because of the elves' inability to actually do anything about this, believing that Kala is just another vampire and should not be revenged, this has caused the vampires as a whole and a lot of other humans and fairies and elves who are on the vampire side to unite and actually fight for the rights to be part of the city.
So
Yep.
okay, I'm sold. I'm 100% into it. I want to become a champion and start playing. Why do I need to do to start playing Genesis? Like, do I need to wait until Origin, or like, is there already some product I can get right now? And what should I get? Kind of, you know.
So first and foremost, the one thing that we want to state and be very clear on is that the best way to support Genesis, the best way to keep the company growing is to support your local game stores. And the local game stores currently have the product lines required to help grow the game. I know even on our end, we still have some of the JLAR second edition starter kits in our warehouse. And everyone should, like every local game store, should be able to order those. So talking to the local game store, working with them, and getting your product there. That should always be your first step when it comes to getting into this game. Work with your local game store, get the product and play with
What
it.
is the estimate delivery? It's written July 2022. You think that's going to be a...
Yes.
So
So we gave ourselves a bit of a buffer space because we know there's been an issue with getting paper. Paper has always been the biggest part of the supply chain, and that's been challenging. And even with where we're at right now with JLR second edition, we have it scheduled for reprint, and the paper was supposed to arrive in early October. It didn't arrive till early November, and then it's been stuck in the ports for 3 weeks. So we finally got that paper in our hands, and now we're doing the production for JLR second edition reprint. So there's always been that struggle with getting the paper to the warehouse, and we want to make sure that we bake in some of those delays.
right, so Origin, let's say July, and until then, we just go to a local game store and ask if they have any Gerard second edition or starter set to just start playing.
Yes.
So just I wanted to confirm, every sets are compatible with each other, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So like there is no reason to really not start to play now.
Yeah.
So let's look at the pledge content, because that's what everybody's excited about. So I see there is an early bird to be revealed soon. That's for the first 24 hours. If I miss it, can I still get it like as an add-on after, or is it like dead forever?
We're going to try to keep the early bird promo exclusive to just the people in the 24 hours, purely because it is not functionally unique. It's just a collector piece for you to have. So anything that is functionally unique, we're not going to be limiting those. We never limit those. We want to make sure that you always have an opportunity to get a version of that card that's playable and competitive. But collector pieces, part of the thing that makes them special is being able to say, I was there, that I was part of that collector piece.
Makes sense. So then we have the one box. I believe that's 100 Canadian. And then we have the three box. I believe that's $285, which make one box $95. And this is all Canadian, guys. So that's not that expensive. And then we have a case for $555, which make one box $92.5. I like numbers. So let's say I want 10 boxes. Can I just get a case and choose with the add-ons, add 4 boxes to it?
Yeah, we'll be having the individual boost boxes in the add-ons.
Okay, that sounds good. And then we have kind of an all-in with 6 boxes, a playmat, it's one t-shirt, but I believe it's written here 2 t-shirts, so I believe that's 2 t-shirts, right? And 1 starter deck. Am I right to assume that I can add more t-shirts and more playmats if I want to?
Yeah, all of those items. It's basically the all-in is the bundle that includes all the stuff that's inside the add-ons as of right now, as one big bundle, so it's easy, one click order.
Yeah, that's... We will talk how to add in after you pledge. You can always modify your pledge, but a lot of people, I think, will be new to Kickstarter, not especially used to it. Then we have something quite original. We have the content creator package. So it's like a case plus a promo and with the logo of the channel. So let's say the Great White North. And so that's pretty original. Why did you decide to do something like that?
So that's one thing we've been noticing a lot, is that there's never been a package that is dedicated towards content creators. And we've had... we would not be where we are if it wasn't for the support of LGSs and content creators. So we can't leave them out of the conversations. They're part of our partner team, and I want to make sure that they can get something that is of value to them to continue supporting Genesis on their YouTube pages or YouTube channels. So having this particular bundle, it's something we haven't done for content creators before. So it's something that I think will be very valuable for them, especially for anyone who's watching their stuff. They're putting in a lot of hard work, and they deserve to get that recognition. Yeah, you know that more than anyone else who's watching your videos right now.
And so those promo, like, so I think there is 50 of those pledge. Will that be 50 different promos, or is that always the same promo with just different logos?
So as of right now, our plan is to pick 50 different promos between commons and uncommons.
Mhm.
On for the content creator one, we'll pick the card. So the content creator won't get to choose their card, but we might give them some options to refine it,
Mhm.
so it's a little bit more on theme with their channel.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, we'll make the final call on the card, and then we'll get their logo on, get them approve it, and then put that out there for them to give out to the community.
So if I want all of them, I need to find a way to contact 50 content creator.
At the end of the day, remember these are not functionally unique pieces; they are just collector pieces. I would say work. I would recommend that you follow your content creators that you love to show them your support.
Mhm.
Try to get one of their promos because you want to show them, hey, I love your channel so much. I wouldn't need a promo from your
Mhm.
channel.
I see, I see. And then going down, I mean, it's certainly very appreciated. I think it's a very good opportunity to talk about the game also for channel who don't do Genesis. Hopefully they will catch up on that. And then we have some retail package, which usually they are not really shown right in the middle of the Kickstarter. They are kind of hidden in a corner. Why is it so important for you to have
Uh,
to
I
focus on retail?
I think key here is transparency.
Mm.
A lot of games, a lot of businesses are trying to keep things on the secret side, not letting people know, you know, how the businesses operate. But that doesn't do a lot of us service. If we don't know that, that, just say there's a product on out there, not talking about Origins, just a magical product out there, and the retailers are selling it at a particular price. The consumers don't know, are the retailers taking a huge loss on this product just to get us it?
Yeah.
And if so, would that change their opinion? Transparency has always been one of my biggest philosophies, and I don't want to stray on that just because we're doing a Kickstarter.
Mhm.
So I like to be open and honest with my community, and this is me doing that.
And then what is kind of cool is like for the large retail, there is 50 of those with an exclusive promo. And I believe that can be any card of Origin.
Yes, in that case, so the retailers are paying a bit of a premium to be able to get this package. Not every retailer would be interested in it, and that's fine. But those who are, we want to give them the opportunity to build organized play in their community.
Mhm.
So giving them a promo that is any card within Origins, and we'll work with them if they don't know the game super well. We'll work with them to try to pick cards that are more meta relevant,
Mhm.
and they can use that as an incentive to try to grow the organized play community. And I
Mhm.
think that's something that would be very valuable. And then, especially when all these communities get together and they start competing with each other, it could be like, oh, I came from the store because I have this
Mhm.
promo. And you're able to show it off to other people.
Yeah.
We did this once before for a 2019 championship. Just prior to that, the three biggest stores that were carrying Genesis, we helped get them promos that are branded for their own store. And when everyone got to at the championship, it became a thing of discussion. It's like, oh, you have the promo from Heads or Tails. Look, I need that, right?
Yeah, let's try to trade.
It became a big thing. Yeah.
I think it's good for the whole community. One of the
Mhm.
questions I wanted to ask you, like if you did that already, but you just talked about it, and I just had two examples. So on the right, that's I think that's the first one you did, Giant Scorpion. That I still don't have,
For
and I
Heads or
want to
Tails.
have one. That was with Head and Tails. And on the left, that's it's still not finished, but that's one we are trying to work together on
Yes.
that cabus for Infinity Shop. No, I think this is really cool.
Yeah.
And so just to be clear, because I have a lot of people asking me that, if you purchase Origins through your local game store because you want to support them, the content will be exactly the same, right? It's not like the
Yes.
box will be different or the promo will be. I mean, except this promo, the stretch goal,
Mhm.
everything will that be the same?
Yeah, everything we're working on is to make sure that the local game store has the tools to support their player base and that the
Mhm.
player base has an opportunity to support the local game store. I've said this many times in other interviews, other conversations. This industry would fall apart if it wasn't for the local game stores. They are the foundation, they are the pillar of this entire industry. And we need to make sure that everyone, the players, and the game publishers like myself are supporting the local game stores and even the content creators. There needs to be they can work to create these amazing communities, but the local game stores are really what brings life to the games. And the content creators can then create great communities to connect digitally, especially when they're in different countries and different parts of the world, right?
No, I think that's good. I also believe that LGS are really important, especially for any kind of game that is focused on the gameplay and not the competitive gameplay.
Yes.
So just, to make the message kind of clear, at least to my understanding, if you have a LGS and you want to support it, then it's okay to buy the Kickstarter box through them because you're going to get the same content plus a promo if they support. If you don't have LGS, well, try to reach out to your local shop and try to tell them to support Genesis. But if you can't do any of those, you can still go directly and everybody will get the same thing. So there is not like somebody's winning or somebody's losing. Is the message correct?
Yeah, we're going to try our best to make sure that across all levels, the content creators, the LGSs, and players are getting the same opportunities available.
Is there a cap at how much one player or one retailer can purchase?
No, we're not going to be capping things. We're going to be printing the boxes based on the demand and the orders. The idea of creating some exclusivity on the Kickstarter, it doesn't do justice for the game itself, because we want to make sure that the value of the Kickstarter boxes are balanced between collectability and playability. We want people opening up the boxes and playing with those cards and bringing them to their tournaments. I think that will be very nice and very entertaining for me, at least.
Yeah. No, I think there is not really a point in having a Kickstarter, a crowdfunding project where you say, all right, we will make only like 10,000 bucks. When there is no more, just go home. Like the goal is to grow the game. There is no real point. And I see you have Manot as a cutout. So let's look at what's inside the box. So I see you have a very nice K logo on the box. So we have each booster have 2 rare, 4 uncommons, 8 commons, and 1 starter card. So starter card are like your champions.
Tokens, rule tips, a lot of stuff. All those cards that were 2-sided in JLR second edition.
So all the champions are in the starter card slot. There is not like a special rare hero that you can't play because you can't get it.
No, I really, really, really dislike the idea of having base foundational cards like champions at a rarity beyond starter. In a booster box, you should be able to get 1 copy of every single champion. It's just getting the special artwork that you want. That is the chase factor.
Yeah.
But if you just need the champion, that should be easily accessible.
And so like we have 152 cards. How many rares?
There's 32 rares, 41 uncommons, and 67 commons. That is the way it's broken down right now.
32 rares.
32 rares, yeah. So within a booster box, you're going to get 1 copy of every single rare and at least doubles of 16 of those rares. So half of them.
All right, that sounds good. So for competitive play, like I think it's safe that you need around 4 or 5 of each rare. And if you need more, you can just buy singles. How many? I don't know.
I've seen some decks that run, 15 or 16 tsunamis. So,
but then you can just buy singles, I guess. Like the thing is, like, it's just like, to your opinion, how many bucks should people pledge or buy for this set? Like for competitive play,
If you're playing competitively, I would say either the 3 to 6, whatever is feasible for you, so half case or full case. And then the other option is waiting until the set after releases to get more of those cards, right?
All right.
So there is a bit of a split between the two, but on the competitive side, I know that a lot of people were buying quite a few of the J2 boxes because it's just getting excess copies of a lot of those cards is just extremely valuable, especially when you're switching between different decks, different strategies. And then, you have some cards that you need a lot of copies of. So
like, I think a case is kind of a good target if you have the funds. But more than that, after it's just, I think it's more if you are interested in the spice. And let's talk about the spice. So we have 1 epic every 7 pack. So we have Tsunami in epic here, which looks, it's mind blowing. It's gorgeous.
Yep. So
So
right now with the Jlara second edition reprint that we're working on right now is to do the dry run and the testing to see how well the card quality will be when it's cut and packaged for the borderless epic rares. And I am really excited about that because that'll look so pretty.
I'm blown away, and I don't know this artist, Dalia Kodur.
She just started with Origins. Her first piece was actually Pari, which was one of the promo cards at the championship.
I see. And then we have one every 17 packs are foil. Are the foil also full art? Are they like, what kind of foil are we talking about?
Yeah, they're the standard foils that we had in JLR second edition. It'll be on the commons, uncommons, and rares. The full art foils will only appear in the box toppers.
I see.
Yeah.
And you are talking like the full card is foil, right? It's not like one part is foil.
Yes. Yeah.
I see. And so there is, so you say every card 152 foil. How many boxes do you need to buy to get one of each foil? 1 million? No idea.
A fair number. The thing is, I come from a history of playing collectible card games. I know the urge to wanting to get every single card in foil, but I also appreciate that it takes finesse to do it.
Yeah.
It'll take you some time. Being able to do it all on the release day, it leaves the set to be a little bit boring. I know people who are still getting J2 packs because they're still looking for those last few foils or few epics. And that's nice because J2 has been on the market for a while. If you want to have your product enjoyable for a longer period of time, you can't just give everyone everything at the very beginning.
That makes sense.
Now, it's not all 152 cards. I just said commons, uncommons, and rares. The starter cards, the champions, are not going to be in foil. If you want to get those in foil, that's a bit more special. Yes.
I see. So let's talk about the box topper because I think that's the most excited reason. I would buy like just the box topper if there was that, you know. So we have one Kickstarter exclusive electrical storm. So that's this one, if I'm not mistaken. So why did you choose this card? Like, do you think it's very meta relevant? That's a Phage card.
So, yeah, two reasons. One is according to from our Future League community's feedback from our internal testing analysis, we believe this is going to definitely be one of the most meta relevant cards because it gives you the same bang for your buck as Tsunami does, giving you that AoE damage of 3. But the fact that it deals 6 damage to everything with aerial means that this will give you that extra damage, especially against things like Angel of Retribution, who is still a big fear in the meta scene.
But it doesn't attack Kun. I just checked that.
No. Kun just gets hit for the regular 3.
Yeah. No, I think this card is amazing. So we get one of those. We get an epic rare in foil. So just to remind you guys, epic rare, I mean, card like that, but it would be foil, which is like, I mean, this is amazing. And only rares can be epic, right?
Yes. So epics themselves are just the extended art version of a regular rare. But then the foil version, this is our first time doing foil epics. We're going to be doing a dry run of it internally for J2. I will give you updates as that progresses. But we want to make sure that our manufacturer can handle it. And if they can't, what are the things we could test and put into place before Origins? Because foil epics, those will look very pretty. Very, very pretty.
And so and then we can have a second, that's a lot of stuff. We can have a second random foil epic rare, so same as what we just saw, or you can have a signed card from Origin, which I found very neat. We can have a sample card, or we can have a pre-alpha card. And here that's an example of a pre-alpha card. So those cards are extremely rare. Like for each card, how many are there out there? Like you take one card, how many pre-alpha copy of it there is?
I am not going to disclose that information.
Secret. All right. Secret means very small. So that's super exciting. So I'm assuming, you know, like it's going to be really, everything in those box topper will be very valuable. And like for me, getting a pre-alpha card is like pulling a Black Lotus out of like an Innistrad pack or like, a normal pack. So, I mean, that's the most exciting part of the Kickstarter. So let's look at the add-on and what we have outside pretty quickly. So we can get a starter, a 2-player starter. So I'm assuming you can get that also during the Play Manager. You can, this is just, I think this is more like if you don't have a local game store to get those, well, then you can get them. Otherwise, just ask your local game store.
Yeah, the local game store should be undercutting us for the 2-player starter kits. We would rather you get it from the local.
We sell them at $20 for those who want to know, and we have tons of them.
Exactly.
Then we have 2 t-shirts, Iblis and Kasha. We don't know Iblis yet. We know Kasha that she likes blood. So those are cool. They are $40 each, and I'm assuming we can choose a size. And then we have this cool playmat, and for $60, is that a Kickstarter exclusive?
Yeah, if you actually zoom in, I don't know if you can see it, but in the top left corner and bottom right corner, you'll see it has the Kickstarter logo on it. So the actual artwork we will have later in the future, but the key here is getting some of those Origins arenas out a little bit earlier. We've already seen one of the Origins arenas come out at the championship, and that was the championship mat. And then we now have the Kickstarter mat, because I think a lot of people who are getting into the game would like to have either an actual mat or get a new mat if their old one is part of the old world and they don't want to play with that anymore.
No, I can assess you cannot play without a game mat. Like, that's almost impossible. And then we have those booster box, so you can add as many as you want for $100 each, which I think it's cool. So like if you want a case, you buy the case pledge, and in add-on you can choose like 300 booster box, and you pay $100 for each. It's pretty simple. And then we have the stretch goal, so 15,000. That's the target, and so the first one is 30,000. We can get a Genesis coin. What is the coin? I'm curious.
We get these little coins made. They have the Genesis logo on one side, and then on the back side, these were made for the anniversary. So this one is the 1-year anniversary coin. I don't know if it's going to zoom in.
Yeah, we see one.
But we will get one that has Kickstarter on the back. So it'll say Genesis on one side, Kickstarter on the other. Cool. And we'll give one to everyone who backs us.
At 50,000, we have the outer wrapper with a logo, and I think that's something that everybody like, but that costs money. So
that's the one thing. I had this conversation with someone, and they're like, as in the market right now, that's kind of status quo to have it on all your boxes. The thing is, we've never invested to put that onto our boxes because we'd rather put our money into getting more product out there, getting more people playing the game. Cheap to get those made.
No, it's not.
So I want to make sure that if we get to that point, yes, we'll invest into getting those so that people will have them, and we could be part of the industry in that way. But it's not our biggest priority. Our biggest priority is just getting Origins out there.
And then for every 10K, we get one of the champions in foil version.
Yes.
That's sweet. And will those be like alternative art or just the same art?
So it's the art that we're revealing here. The alternate art ones will be released. You'll get them in the booster packs, and you'll get them in the release set. And then for the foil versions of the alternate art, we have something special planned for those in the future.
Okay, more spice coming always. So that's cool. And a practical question: like, let's say you back one case, 6 boxes. Do you get 6 of those promo, or do you get only 1?
So that's something I was literally thinking about while we were talking just now.
Yeah.
Is it based on the number of boxes you order, or is it based on each individual pledge? I think we'll do something special for possibly the retailers, but we'll see what we plan on doing for the players.
And just to be clear, if time allow us, the Kickstarter is coming out Wednesday, so in 2 days. That's really short. The day the Kickstarter is out, if we can, maybe I will do it alone, maybe somebody will help me, but we will go inside all the detail when things are set in stone, because by then, hopefully things will be set in stone. So we will have all those questions. And then we have a deck box. that a paper deck box, a wood deck box? I love deck box.
No, so we have talked to a couple manufacturers. We have some ideas floating, but it's been something that has been asked of us, and we will look into expediting it. Is if we can get a deck box that is nice, pretty with the Genesis logos for people to add on to the project.
Cool. And 250K, we have an alternate art of Tsunami with art by Alil Ural. And you can see here some arts of by Alil Ural. I have done quite a lot of Magic art, some Star Wars board game art. That's one of your favorite artists?
So he's a close friend of Damian's, and he was willing to work with us on this Kickstarter as a favor between the two of them. So I'm excited to see how that kind of comes about. We've never had an artist that's quite at that caliber working on this project yet. So I'm excited to see what he's going to put together for us.
And I'm curious, how many more stretch goals do you have? What's your ultimate goal? 1,500,000?
Is that we get a whole bunch of new players and everyone loves Genesis. That's my ultimate goal. But when it comes to financially here, I think for us, if we can hit anywhere between 150 to 300,000, that gives us the runway we need to make sure that the company grows in a very in the direction we want it to, along the timelines we want to. Because if we start growing too large, just say we get to that $1 million, that's gonna cause downstream delays because of fulfillment for the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So there is kind of a sweet spot for all of this. And I think it's around the 300,000.
But you're not going to kick out people if you reach 1 million, right?
No.
Just be careful. It might go that high. And I hope you have some ideas.
That is when we will be contacting people and saying there will be some interesting developments based on the amount of demand, right?
That's cool. I'm sure there will be more surprise for the stretch goal.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. And then we have the backers community. I mean, we have a bunch of, I found it really cool, pitch contest kind of stretch goal. So 250 backers. Then you will accept people submit an ID of cards. And you're going to select some of them for the next set.
Yeah. We'll have to work with the details because it comes down to how many backers there are, how many ideas they pitch us, how much time we have to do different things. In the past, what we've done is we would get all the ideas, filter them down to just say 20 of them, and then do bracket eliminations. Or I guess 24 is a better number. But we'll do bracket eliminations to the point where we have our top two, and then the community votes on those, and then the best one wins.
I already have my card that I've been working on, and I'm very excited. Nice. And we have more of those with the Facebook stretch goal to make more cards for Invasion, so the next set Collision and War.
Yeah. So these ones are a little bit different because with the backer one, that will be a submission only for backers. But for the Facebook ones, will be open to everyone who's following us on Facebook. They'll be able to submit ideas. So those ones will be a much larger.
I see that. So War is so there is Origin, Invasion, Collision, and War. So you have quite some plan already, you know?
We have more than just that plan, but yes, something that was an idea from you, and hopefully we're able to add it to the Kickstarter in the next little while, is to show a timeline of everything we've done so far, where we're at today, and where we're planning to go over the next little while.
I think this is good because I think people don't really understand that 4 years for a company, it's huge. Usually you die after 2 years. Surviving 4 years and not going in the red, it's a huge achievement by itself. And there have been 4 sets already. So it's not something new. It's just something that it's a secret, I feel. And the secret needs to be revealed to the world. Yes. And we have the YouTube stretch goal, which I'm excited for those too. So depending on the number of followers, you're going to open rarer and rarer sets. So I want the alpha box. And I will try to hack YouTube and get everything when you open it. So you will do giveaway of what you crack?
Yes. Every pack we open, we'll select a viewer at random, and then we will open the pack on their behalf, and then we'll ship them the contents.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, I need to learn how to hack YouTube. Okay, that's cool. And then we have some how to play video. And we will try to. I mean, if I make a new one, I will try to update them here. There are a lot of content on like, like you can practice the game on tabletop. Thank you for putting our logo. That's really cool. And you can click here to see some third-party video. There are quite a lot. I think there is like 300 third-party video. I was clicking on that. There is a lot of content. There is like tech we can see here. There is like just fun stuff about the game. There is like how to play. There is some of the competitive play. So there is a lot, to dig. And we have a bit of the history here. Because this is a very personal project. I mean, this is you, like, this is really you inside a booster, kind of.
That was literally the first day Genesis went on sale to the public. It was me and my best friend Lionel who helped me create the game. His name is credited on the alpha products, and we were getting interviewed on that first day. It was a long time ago.
I mean, that's amazing. At the end, you have the usual, team. That's a nice team, You have like 5 people here, 5 real people, like professional. Are those employed by you?
So Chris, he is one of the 4 people who helped make the game 10 years ago. And he's been playtesting it since. He went off for a little while, got a bunch of degrees in project management and sales and marketing. And now he's come on as part-time to be part of the executive team. So what you're seeing here is our executive team. Cool. Alex Miller, who I'm sure you've talked to a lot, amazing guy, and he has had a huge passion for the game and is now our lead game designer. He takes on the entire project, and I trust him completely that he's going to make the game way better than I could have if I was still designing it. I trust him completely. Damian, who is the best, he's been staying with me for 2 weeks, and I don't want him to leave. He is such a nice person. And he has been, he's just a phenomenal artist. Everything he does is golden. And then the last person there, Safi Hafsada. He is my personal mentor. He has been working for the Loblaw organization. So anyone who doesn't know that, they're the biggest retail grocery store company in Canada. They are located across the country with multiple different chains underneath their name, including a banking organization and everything. And he, for a while, he was also the director of projects there. He then branched off to do a specialty project, which is the e-commerce side of it. And he has a MBA and just a huge history in business. So he mentors me every single week. And if it wasn't for him, I would not be able to build this company to the caliber I'm building it.
Yeah, no, that's a very healthy team. So I think, I think that's a very good, we went through a lot of things. So just to summarize, the very key point is, when does the Kickstarter start?
Fingers crossed, everything should be live on December 1st. I say fingers crossed because Kickstarter is very rigorous when it comes to their approval process. And we need to wait at least another day till we get our final approval.
Yeah, there is no need to rush, right? You don't need to stay on F5 and it's open and they buy everything. We can take our time, right?
Yes, yeah. My goal, my hope is, I know that usually Kickstarters go with an explosive growth at the beginning and a last minute rush at the end. But it's a middle section that I'm more interested on is, are we communicating with our network on a regular basis to make sure that they are engaged with us all the time when it comes to Genesis? I don't want them to feel that we're abandoning them midway through the project.
Yeah, so I will try to help, during the Kickstarter. That's going to be a 1 month Kickstarter, I believe.
A little bit over, because then if we ended it at the end of December, that's when we have New Year's Eve, and people will be distracted with that. So we are extending it a little bit longer than December, and just slightly into January.
Okay. Well, we will try to have updates along the way. And just to summarize, so it doesn't change if you pledge directly or if you ask your local game store to pledge. You want to get the same content, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a question that was, how much do you recommend to pledge? I think a case seems like a sweet number. Or
It all comes down to how much you want to dig into the game. But the thing I like to say first about all that is the game is fun. I do appreciate it when people support us, but make sure you're also being financially responsible. So
that's
find a
true.
balance between those things. I do not like hearing stories where people neglect to eat lunch because they want to go do a booster draft. Go take care of yourself
I
on
never heard
a
this story, but
emotional level.
that's a good one. And so yeah, as a KS exclusive, we have the logo on the card, we have logo on the box, we have the box topper with some amazing stuff, and we will have those foil heroes as a stretch goal because I'm sure we're gonna go through those stretch goal. And like what I hope we can try to do is I think there will be a KS launch party whenever it's out, and
Yes.
hopefully we either I will be live or I will be with you. I'm sure something cool will happen. But
Yeah.
really, like you don't need to stay all night and just refresh all the time. It's
Yeah.
not like all the booster will disappear, and I'm sure all your LGS will get tons of them, so you can just ask them too. So really, like I
Yeah.
think it's the goal is to have more of the game out there. It's not
Yes.
the goal is not to sell 1 million in 10 minutes. It's not the
Yeah.
goal. It's the
Our
game is
goal
amazing.
here is that this helps us get a lot of those local game stores getting the product that they need so that the future of Genesis is a lot more stable, that
Yeah.
those local game stores continue to have more and more players. We don't want this to be a one-time boost in the growth of the
Mm.
company. We want this to be a continuous growth, and this is just the next step up. And then we keep on growing from here.
All right, that's amazing. Well, I guess next time I hope I can get one spoiler. I'm excited about that. And if you have any question, you put them below. You see there are some tiny detail we don't know yet, but I hope this video help you to understand the structure of the Kickstarter and answer like 95% of the question. And once it's out or just before it's out, once the detail are decided, I will try to make a very short one with just like the key element and maybe some slides so that everybody know what is happening. But this is a very healthy Kickstarter. Don't worry about anything. Everything will be accessible. Really, the goal is really start to play, enjoy the game, and have fun.
Yes. Yes. Have fun. Play the game.
Play the game. Open those box. Don't
Yes.
keep 20 bucks in your closet. Open those
Yep.
box and play the game.
This is all of my unopened product. This is it. Everything else is open. I'm playing with it, and it's part of the community.
Well, thank you a lot, Sid. So I'm sure we will see you soon.
Yes.
Yeah, don't forget to comment, subscribe, because then you will be notified when something pops up. And I'm sure I will have some promos. So really keep in touch. And our shop Infinity will also hopefully have some promos if everything goes well. So really, like we are all super excited. Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon.